There are times in the wide world of film when a series of films hits the jackpot, with a climax that's so wonderful that it seems like the perfect ending. At these precise moments, characters' storylines come together, characters achieve closure, and viewers are left in awe and thinking, this is where it should have ended. However, these franchises are frequently drawn back for more, which occasionally dilutes the genius of their zenith with needless spin-offs and sequels. Let's examine those exact instances in cinematic history when the titles ought to have rolled once and for all. It's important to acknowledge that the X-Men brand still had potential for standalone spin-offs like Deadpool and Logan. These films demonstrated that the franchise could thrive with unique, character-focused stories set within the broader X-Men universe. They offered fresh perspectives and innovative storytelling, proving that the X-Men's legacy could endure beyond the traditional ensemble films. However, when it comes to the mainline X-Men movies, Days of Future Past clearly stood out as the perfect conclusion for this continuity. The film masterfully brings together different timelines as Wolverine is sent back to 1973 to prevent the catastrophic rise of the Sentinels, a dire threat to both mutants and humans. This time travel mission culminates in an epic convergence of characters and events from across the series, creating a sense of closure and resolution. When Wolverine returns to the future in 2023, he discovers that the mission was a success. Not only have the Sentinels been stopped, but the timeline has been effectively reset, erasing the tragic events of The Last Stand. This rewriting of history brought back several beloved characters who had previously been lost or sidelined, offering a new beginning and a clean slate for future stories to build upon. The reunion of familiar faces in this brighter, hopeful future seemed to set the stage for exciting new adventures within the X-Men universe. However, in hindsight, knowing the direction the franchise took with Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix, it's clear that many of these characters and plot lines might have been better left in the past. The subsequent films struggled to capture the magic and depth of their predecessors, often feeling forced and underwhelming. The rich potential established by Days of Future Past was squandered in favor of convoluted narratives and character arcs that failed to resonate with audiences. Looking back, Days of Future Past should have been the grand finale for the traditional X-Men films, preserving the integrity and legacy of the series while allowing for new standalone stories to explore the rich tapestry of the X-Men universe. After his wildest journey yet, Jack ends up where he began. He has no ship or crew, but he still relies on his quick thinking and luck. With only a small boat, a map, his compass, and a bottle of rum, Captain Jack sails off again. This shows that Jack will always be out there, seeking new adventures. However, we didn't really need to see those new adventures. The later Pirates movies became confusing and less interesting, with Jack trying to keep things fun using the same old tricks. Even when a series seems to be ending, it can still go too far. Riding into the sunset might sound cliché, but when executed well, it can create a perfect cinematic moment. This was epitomized in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, where we see Indiana Jones riding off with his friends and father to the timeless melody of John Williams' iconic score. It felt like the perfect conclusion to Indy's adventures, leaving the audience with a sense of closure and satisfaction. However, what was supposed to be the final chapter turned out to only be the third-to-last adventure for the aging archaeologist. Despite the seemingly definitive end, Indiana Jones was brought back for 2 more films, involving aliens in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull and time travel with Archimedes in Dial of Destiny. While these sequels have their fans, or more accurately, defenders who are willing to overlook their flaws, even the most dedicated supporters can't deny that the ending of The Last Crusade was an almost flawless send-off for the character. It captured the essence of a beloved hero's journey coming to a fitting close, making it difficult for any subsequent adventures to match that sense of finality and emotional resonance. Despite the sad situation, the team came together and gave a heartfelt tribute to Paul and his character Brian O'Connor. In the end, set to the song See You Again, Dom and Brian drive off in different directions, remembering the good times and hoping to meet again. It was a beautiful farewell to Brian and should have been the end of the series, though the Fast and Furious family kept growing. It hasn't been the same without Brian, who now only exists off-screen. Even if the new movies still have some fun moments, Brian's absence is one of the reasons the later sequels seem forced. Zack Snyder's cut is considered its zenith. Snyder's supersized version, released after much anticipation, culminates in a rousing finale where the assembled heroes strike a powerful pose, almost begging for a triumphant mic drop moment. However, the film doesn't end there. An extended epilogue of about 30 minutes follows, providing some closure but also introducing multiple storylines that ultimately led nowhere. This segment, rather than solidifying the film's success, highlighted the fragmented nature of the DCEU. Most subsequent DCEU films failed to match the dramatic and critical success of Snyder's cut, prompting studios to hit the reset button of the cinematic universe. Instead of concluding on a resonant image of iconic heroes, the DCEU stumbled into an anticlimactic moment, ending on a scene where Patrick Wilson's character is seen eating a bug, a bizarre conclusion more befitting a canceled sitcom than a grand superhero saga. James Cameron's follow-up to the 1979 sci-fi classic took everything to the next level, from action to emotions. When Ellen Ripley battles the alien queen, we're excited and emotionally involved. The franchise couldn't surpass this amazing showdown. But you'd think Alien 3 would at least try, right? Instead, the next film undid everything great about Aliens by getting rid of Newt and Hicks right away. Since then, the Alien series has struggled to stay relevant with sequels, prequels, and crossovers that just haven't worked. Whether or not the series ever recovers, it's best to imagine Ripley's story ended with her daring escape, and everything else was just Newt's bad dream. Michael Myers was supposed to die in Halloween 2, but he came back 2 movies later. He seemed really dead in H2O, but they brought him back again with Resurrection. When the 2018 Halloween movie came out, it ignored the other sequels and brought Jamie Lee Curtis back as Laurie Strode. It felt like these characters would finally get a proper ending. And they did. Michael was trapped and set on fire, and it seemed like he couldn't survive this time while Laurie and her family drove away. However, Universal didn't stop there and made 2 more sequels, making the same mistakes as the old movies they had tried to forget. These movies kept getting better and wrapped up nicely with Ultimatum. In the end, Jason Bourne, also known as David Webb, jumps into the East River and is presumed dead, though his body isn't found. The audience smiles with Nikki as we see Jason swimming away, bringing his story full circle, as he was pulled from the sea when we first met him. Everyone thought Jason's story had ended, which is why The Bourne Legacy introduced a new main character. But after that movie didn't do well, Jason Bourne came back in a sequel that many of us don't even remember. As Matt Damon said in 2007, they had taken the franchise as far as it could go. It's obvious that oftentimes less is more when we consider these pivotal moments in film franchises. A series can become renowned by finding the right ending, but if it goes on past that, its impact could be lessened. These pivotal events, whether they filled our curiosity or left us perplexed, serve as a reminder of the delicate boundary that exists in the film industry between the need for resolution and the attraction of unfinished tales.